Hi! Welcome to Flights of Fancy Storytime. I'm Ann from the National Air and Space Museum, and I'm here to bring some of our museum stories to you. Today, I'm thinking about parachutes. Parachutes are important safety equipment on some aircraft and spacecraft too. Parachutes slow the fall of something so that they don't crash to the ground. It was also used as part of the shows of barnstorming pilots like Georgia Tiny Broadwick and Chauncey Spencer. Here's a picture of Tiny Broadwick before a jump wearing her parachute. The parachute folds up and is worn in a backpack. When the person is in the air, the material unfolds and they float down. Here's a picture of Chauncey Spencer after he parachuted from an airplane. Can you see the parachute in the image? The material for the parachute must be light and strong, and there's a lot of it. I think about those barnstormers when I see seeds of certain trees floating slowly down and being carried by the wind. The covering on the seed works like a parachute to slow the seed down as it falls from the trees. This means that the seed may not fall as quickly right below the tree, and it can give the baby plant a chance to grow in a better spot. Here's a story about that. Once upon a time, there were 3 friends who liked exploring together. They were Millie, Ruth, and Lou. One day, the 3 friends were riding their scooters down the big hill, enjoying the feeling of the wind on their faces as they sped towards the big maple tree. When they got to the tree, they sat down underneath to rest for a moment. Ruth noticed some seeds twirling down from the tree. "Look at how those seeds spin. I wonder what makes them turn like that," said Ruth. Lou stood on one foot with her hands over her head and twirled around. They looked so graceful, like a dancer. Millie picked up one of the seeds and looked closely at it. "I see the seed on one end, like a little ball, and then the other end is like a wing shape. It feels almost like paper." Ruth picked up a handful of the seeds and threw them up into the air. They all watched the seeds slowly fall and twirl around. Some of the seeds were picked up by the wind and blown sideways so that they landed a bit farther away. Ruth ran after the seeds as they blew down the hill. The friends followed the seeds as they spun and twirled. They finally landed a bit further away near another tree that was dropping seeds. "Oh, look at these seeds," said Lou. "They're smaller and kind of round, but they float on the wind too." "I wonder what kind of tree this is," said Ruth. "It's very tall." She stood up tall with her arms over her head and waved them around. This feels kind of like paper too, like the other seed. I have an app that can identify plants by their leaves," said Millie. "We just need a picture." Lou said, "It's amazing that such a huge tree could grow from such a tiny little seed." The 3 friends picked up a few seeds and a leaf from each tree and put them in their pockets. Then they hopped back onto their scooters. "I'll race you back to my house," said Millie, and they all took off towards Millie's house for tea. Once they got to her house, Millie took out her tablet to look up the trees. The first one is a silver maple tree, and the second one is a Chinese elm. "Cool," said Millie. "Tea time," said Ruth. "Let's sit outside for tea today." They set up their tea party in the garden and sipped their tea and crunched some cookies. "Look," said Lou, "dandelions. Let's make a wish." The 3 friends each picked up a dandelion full of fluffy seeds. Millie looked closely at hers. "There must be 100 little parachutes on here, ready to ride the wind," she exclaimed. "I wish all the little seeds will grow and make people happy," said Millie, and she blew the seeds into the wind. "I wish kids everywhere had plenty of plants and trees to enjoy," said Ruth, and she blew on her dandelion. "I wish everyone in the world had good friends like you two," said Lou, and she blew on her dandelion seeds. The 3 friends watched their seeds and wishes fly up on the wind and float away. Then they gave each other a high five. It's craft time. Today we're going to make wind spinners. Here I have one that I made before. These, when you drop them, they spin around like a maple seed falling from a tree. Really fun. What we need for this craft is your tape, a crayon, you need scissors and paper. You can use white paper, construction paper, try different weights and different sizes of paper, and see what happens. Now, you only need half of a piece of paper, so we're going to fold it in half this way, and then you can just cut that right down the middle and only use one side. And I have one that I already cut over here. Now, what we're going to do is make our spinner with this 1/2, and then you have 2 pieces of paper, you can make 2 spinners. All right, so I'm going to fold it in half like this and crease it down the middle. Now, open it up again and you can see the crease right here. And this is going to become our 2 wings at the top. Now, just to help make the wings, what we're going to do is we're going to look at about halfway up and we're going to cut a triangle out of it. Oh, I'm going to cut a triangle right here. You ready? Just like this. And take that triangle and throw that away. We don't need that part. Now it looks like this when we have it folded, and when you open it up, it looks like this. Great. Now this top part right here is going to become the wings, and we're going to cut it to right at the top of that triangle. So I'm going to take my crayon and I'm just going to draw a line across so that I know when to stop cutting. So I'm going to cut down right to that line. There we go. Now I'm going to fold these, and these are going to be the wings. So I'm going to fold one towards me and one towards you. There we go. Those are our wings. Now the bottom part is going to become a handle. And what we're going to do is we're going to fold this up, and we're going to fold one side to the middle and the other side and make a handle like this. This makes it a little bit heavier on the bottom. And then to give it a little more weight, we're going to fold it up on the bottom. This is kind of like where the maple seed hangs down from maple seed, and then it's a little bit of a weight. Now to hold that in place, we're just going to use a piece of tape, and then our wind spinner will be ready to try. There we go, little piece of tape. Let me put another piece on the other side so that it doesn't flap open. All right, are you ready? Let's see what happens when we drop it. Make sure all my creases are good. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Did you see it? Let's try it one more time. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Wow, that's really fun. Try it out. I hope you enjoy this craft, and you can try it with a few different kinds of paper. If you enjoy our craft time videos and our story time videos, please subscribe to the Air and Space Museum's channel on YouTube and like the video, and that will help you to find us again and find all our videos as they come out each month. Thanks for coming. Bye-bye.